Yo guys, Vision SGN here, bringing you Marvel Rivals full Iron Man guide, breaking down how to play as Iron Man, explaining all of his abilities, including his team-up ability, as well as his strengths and weaknesses. This is episode 6 of my new Hero Series guides, with all of the previous videos on my channel linked in the description below. On that note, let's get right into it. So Iron Man is a flying or aerial duelist in Marvel Rivals, one of the very few who has the best movement in the game when it comes to speed and evasion in my opinion. Once you get the hang of how to master and combine his abilities with his movement, you become very difficult to deal with and begin creating a lot of issues for the enemy team, especially those support players, and if you play the right angles and lanes, as Iron Man, you can be a real game changer. Iron Man has a base health of 250 and a standard movement speed of 6 meters per second. As for his abilities and how you use them, here's a whole list of his abilities and some practice gameplay alongside some actual gameplay of me trying to use this character for the first time in game. Now, as for his primary attack, the Repulsor Blast, this has a 3-hit combo which deals 55 damage initially or 60 damage with the Gamma Overdrive ability, whereas his two-handed Repulsor, his third consecutive attack with his primary, deals 65 damage. Now, unlike most heroes in this game, Iron Man actually has two primary attacks. Similar to Punisher, he has this Unibeam. By pressing R1, allows him to access this very powerful but closer ranged method of attack. It deals 140 damage per second up to 25 meters away, and with the Gamma Overdrive ability, which I'll explain shortly, deals 220 damage per second, which as you can see is kind of crazy. As for the character's movement, he already moves pretty well when it comes to strafing left and right, but when you press circle, you access hypervelocity, which effectively increases Iron Man's movement speed by 100%, allowing him to evade for a short period of time into anywhere he wants to go to stay alive. Whilst flying around, it's then useful to add his micro missile barrage ability by pressing X, which when in hypervelocity or armor overdrive is used, Iron Man can then launch a missile bombardment by pressing X, which launches missiles directly beneath Iron Man, which deal 20 damage per round. He has 16 total missiles in this attack, which travel at a distance of 15 meters per second, and with the Gamma Overdrive upgrade, he has 18 missiles, which travel at 60 meters per second, dealing 15 damage per second, and has a 6-second cooldown. Now, this is really useful to use as a tip to guide and direct this attack at the ground or the feet of the enemy that you're looking at, as that seems to be where it's most effective and where you can cause the most amount of damage. Now, as for this armor overdrive ability that I've been referring to, when you press triangle, you enhance the damage of the Repulsor Blast and the Unibeam. It lasts for 10 seconds and has a 20-second cooldown. However, with the team-up ability, which I'll explain shortly, which increases the effectiveness as it changes to Gamma Overdrive, which effectively further enhances the damage of the Repulsor Blast and Unibeams via his team-up with Hulk. So as for the team-up ability, Hulk charges both Doctor Strange and Iron Man with gamma radiation. Now for Iron Man, when he uses his armor overdrive ability, which I've alluded to, he will initiate a gamma upgrade. Now this is super powerful, and if you're a diamond or even maybe platinum level player or above in competitive, you will notice that Hulk gets banned quite a lot. Now it's not just because of Hulk, it's purely based on this team-up ability, and for the most part, you won't see or have another team allow another team to play both Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Hulk, because it's so effective. There's really not much you could do. I mean, there are counters, but you have to spend majority of the game trying to counter this. So for the most part, the easiest solution to resolve this problem is remove Hulk from the game. Now, as for his ultimate ability, the Invincible Pulsar Cannon, this delivers 1,000 damage in a target area, which is ridiculously powerful and super fun to use. However, it can be countered by both Doctor Strange and Magneto and a handful of other players, but for the most part, a shield will block this damage initially, so if you are behind that shield, you are safe, but it is terrifying to hear the sound cue of this ultimate being used, so by all means, avoid any area where Iron Man is using this ultimate unless you have a shield in front of you. As for his playstyle and the general guide or tips on how you want to play this character, you want to use cover where possible, as he's quite a squishy character and can be sniped out the sky pretty easily from my own experience. So by all means, use things like trees and sit behind somewhere where you have a slight bit of cover that you can use to your advantage, but also make sure you're close enough where you're actually able to use both the Unibeam and to the Repulsor Blast. Now, it may sound ratty of some sort to be playing behind cover all the time, but believe me, if you're just up in the air out in the open, you are going to get sniped or you're going to get solo dueled by a Spider-Man, and for the most part, I found that this character does counter Iron Man quite well, so I hate coming across Spider-Man, but maybe you're better at using the character than me. Again, I barely use the character, but I do definitely plan on using the character more. He's super fun to use, and I have tried experimenting and want to continue experimenting with the ultimate and the team-up abilities, as they seem to be where the character is most fun. But for myself being a tank main and playing a lot of competitive, in the Celestial lobbies and above, it just seems to be quite difficult to try out new characters, and it seems a bit selfish in some way for my teammates, so I don't really try it. But from what I've gathered so far playing against him, he's almost like an assassin style character with high DPS, and if you sort of sneak around the map to use that to your advantage, you'll avoid being detected and seen so you can deal more damage. But also, for his ultimate ability, I found it to be most effective, and also seen it to be most effective, when you either flank the enemy or surprise them from the rear side, which sounds sus now that I've just said that, but that is exactly how you want to sort of use the ability, as most players can either snipe you or counter it with a shield, so just bear that in mind. And there you have it. That's the full guide of Iron Man and how to use him. He's a 2-star difficulty hero who's really fun to use, and I'd highly recommend that all players try this character out. He's a unique aerial hero in this game with insane movement and also with a really cool team up and ultimate ability. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know down below if you have any tips and tricks that you've learned along the way so far with Iron Man, or if you have any cool clips that you'd like to share. I'm Visionist Gen, and I'll see you in the next one.